Hello and welcome everyone to this week's Soul Wisdom training, which takes place here in the Soul Inspired Leaders group every Wednesday at 4 p.m. for around 20 minutes, sharing lots of tips and tools and actions as well, because as we know, with getting lots of information is not always helpful. It might be inspiring in the moment, but what really makes a difference is going away and taking some actions. So this week, I'm really excited to start talking about the topic around money, and especially today talking about the truth about money. And it's a really interesting topic, and for many of you in the group, I know that you're all working on businesses or working in the profession of helping others, supporting the environment, supporting wildlife, supporting humanitarian issues, or helping people creating conscious shifts in the world. And so right now, you know, this idea of money, when we're in the helping profession and when we're supporting others, all the environmental planetary issues, you know, we come from this space of lack a little bit, of, you know, not being able to fully step into this idea of money, and that actually it goes hand in hand with being less financially abundant than if we were doing other work. We feel that we can't charge so much for these kinds of professions. We feel that it's bad to be asking for money. I know so many people who are giving things away for free because they feel that they should be sharing their gift and actually not charging for these amazing tools that they have, and probably spent a lot of money gaining those tools. So we really need to start leaning into talking about this conversation of money and start to talk about how we can bring the 1% of the financial wealth that's in the world into the hands of people that are helping and supporting the planet and humanity on it, because that's what's going to create the shift and the shift in consciousness and the world shift and change that is really, really needed right now. We are in challenging times, and actually we need to flip this idea of that money, there is lack, or that we it's not spiritual to have a lot of money, and so that we can unlock that for ourselves, and we can actually start to use this as the solution to money. So let me share a little bit about my background in terms of my own experiences with money. If you're watching and you've got questions, then please do ask in the chat box. If you're watching the replay, please do type #replay so I know you're watching in the replay, and I can also answer any questions that you have. So don't worry if you're not watching live. But you know, from my own experience, you know, I used to work in the IT profession, and then I, over a number of years, really realised that that wasn't where my heart was, and that wasn't really what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. But so I moved over into working in the conservation sector, and I really felt, and really for some reason had this belief, and I'm not quite sure where this stemmed from or at what point this stemmed. But I really believed in order to work in that sector and to do good and to give back to the world, I would have to go without. I would have to take a massive pay cut from my IT job. I would have to start living a little bit more frugally. I would have to volunteer to get my foot in the door in that sector, and those are things that I actually did do for a number of years, actually. And then over time, you know, getting a job in that sector and really feeling like it was lack. There was an energy of financial lack within the industry. It's with everybody that I worked with. I worked in a number of different sectors within conservation. And I loved it, you know, I really, really loved it. But the thing that I really, really struggled with was this idea that actually it was these charities were not being run as proper businesses, that people in the voluntary sector felt that, well, actually, if we want to run a not-for-profit organisation, we have to make at no profit. We have to run the business at no profit. And I didn't really come from a business background, but I never could really understand what that mentality was about, because actually for any business to run, we need to run at a profit to be able to reinvest in it, to invest in the people, the skills, the tools, and everything else that we need to grow a business so we can have a bigger impact. And so I remember always thinking, I don't understand where this is coming from. And it's only in more recent years that I've really been, you know, tapping into this the energy of money. and really understanding, you know, how that's limiting our future and the wave of change that needs to come. So I really want to tap into this and really talk about it. You know, I don't know if you're watching, then let me know if you feel that money has kind of got this dirty energy to it, that, you know, money is, you know, when we look at people, then perhaps a judgment comes up about other people and how you perceive them when they have money and they have abundance, and that they're probably doing something that's not legitimate or something like that. So I'd be really interested to know what your thoughts and feelings are about when you see people and businesses with a lot of money. But, you know, money is what's going to unlock the environmental crisis that we're having, the humanitarian crisis, and we need to start seeing it as, instead of an obstacle, that it's actually the solution. So I really want you to start feeling into that and really get an idea of how money is going to be the solution to everything, all the issues and problems that's going on. And actually what needs to happen is that the people who are working to improve the planet, improve you know, people's quality of lives, etc., need to really come into having that money abundance. And that's where we can really create those massive shifts in the world. Hi Anna, I can see you're watching. Just give me a hello and just let me know that you can hear me. That would be great. And join me in this conversation about money. You know, so what is the real universal truth then about money? Because it's such an interesting conversation to be having. And I really, you know, really have been fascinated and curious about this for some time. But I just want you to really understand that money is just energy. Money is just an energy. If we think about it, you know, all the money that exists, most of it doesn't actually exist in the physical, right? All of us are paying by cards, on debit cards, credit cards for things. You know, most of the numbers on the screens for banks, you know, that money doesn't really exist. It's just energy that is circulating around the system from one place to another, from one business to another, from one individual to another, to supporting something that's good. Hi, Anna. You know, supporting things that are good. You know, this money is just an energy that is in the system. And so what we need to do and start to do is really tap into this idea that, you know, money is just energy. Okay, we either attract that money towards us or we push it away, and that's through the limiting beliefs, our belief system, through cultural upbringing, through societal upbringing, you know, about money that we have. And so we really need to start looking at what money means to us, and are we attracting it or are we pushing it away? Do we think that we need to be in a space of lack in order to do good in the world, which is seriously not the case? The more money comes to those conscious people that are doing things in the world to support the world and the future, this wave of change that we absolutely need, then we really need to tap into this idea of money. So money is just energy. That's really the first thing that I really want to let you know about. Money is also, it already exists. Abundance already exists. Now, if you're like me, you come from a spiritual background, a spiritual belief around money and abundance, that abundance exists, then that includes money. Like this idea that abundance is for everybody, that actually the universe is providing abundance in all areas of our lives. And I call it soul wealth abundance. So it's really tapping into this idea of money, an abundance of money, an abundance of health and well-being, an abundance in our relationships. That is what is available to us all. Money gives us choices. Money gives us more choices in our life, and we have to now tap into it and recognize that actually all of that already exists. Okay, we only need to align to it, or we don't, and then we experience the lack. You know, money is being printed all the time. You know, to be a millionaire 15, 20 years ago was like, oh my gosh, we'd be sorted for life. Now a million is nothing. We have now created millionaires. We're on our way to having, I think, our first trillionaires pretty soon. So thinking about that amount of money never really existed until very recently. So we are creating this money as we go through time. We're creating more and more money. So, you know, let me know in the chat box how you feel about money. Do you feel it is a good thing, that you want to bring more of it into your life? Do you feel that you have restrictions, that you're pushing it away? Just let me know in the chat box, because I'd really love to know and get this conversation going, because this is such an important conversation for us to be having right now, when we're on the real cusp of needing, you know, a big wave of change in the world that's coming. You know, so money, as well as all abundance, is available to us all. The universe doesn't reward or deny anyone of anything. We need to show up in the energy of abundance and fulfill and having all of that, and the universe will only just respond to where we're at. So if we're pushing money away because we have ideas or beliefs that are limiting us around money, then it's very difficult for us to attract it and to stand in that abundance, and then the universe cannot respond. It's very difficult. So the universe is only responding to where we are. So we kind of have this idea that the law of attraction is like, if we think good thoughts and we think about abundance and we think about and feel it and tap into it, then the universe will reward us with it. But that's not the case. We have to show up with action. And we have to take responsibility in the action that we take that aligns us to that money. So I hope this is making sense. Let me know. Because if we're not aligning to the abundance, the universe cannot reward us with us. And then we cannot have a huge, big impact in the world that we want to have through all the wonderful things that you guys are doing in the world. Okay? Because if you're acting and responding and behaving from a space of lack, that's what you're going to be attracting. So it's our role to really lean into this topic of money now, and recognizing it as the solutions to the problems going forward in the world. And you're part of it. We're all part of that. The money needs to come into the hands of the conscious, and so many more conscious entrepreneurs are coming are stepping up into this. You know, a lot of the millionaires and billionaires out there now are really giving back. They really recognize that actually what they can do with that money is give back and serve. And they, in the process of all that, they can have an amazing life. You know, I know with money that I can make better choices, that I can make choices to support other businesses that are doing and creating products that are sustainable, that are supporting the environment rather than destroying it. That I can support initiatives that are supporting humanitarian rights, that I can give my services for a lower cost to those that can't afford it. So there's so much more that we can do. So it is really time to step up into this abundance piece of money. So Anna's just saying, where I struggle is when people overcharge me. I feel abundant but get less at peace when I feel people overcharged. This doesn't help me. So that's really interesting, because what do you mean by overcharging? Because it's not about what we're charging for, it's about the value that we give, that we tap into. So money is about charging your value. It's not charging the cheapest price. That when we step into investing in ourselves and stretching ourselves financially, we are going to step more and more into that financial abundance piece for ourselves. It's a really interesting thing, because it really doesn't make intuitive or logical sense for so many of us. We feel, well, that's overcharging, but actually we're investing in ourselves. And when we see ourselves as being worth that amount, it doesn't become about overcharging. It means about getting the value for what those people are serving and offering us. I hope that makes sense, because actually what happens is so many people say, I want more, but I'm not willing to invest in it because I don't have it. And we have to take calculated risks. I remember when I first started my business and stepping out of, you know, working in my business, I was like, I can't afford to get help because I need to you know, need to make sure that I can survive. But actually what happened when I invested in programs that I felt were an absolute stretch for me, they were well beyond my means at that time, I made that money back. I have always, since that point, invested heavily in my business and my self-development. I have gone without certain things in my life to invest in my self-development and my expansion and my growth. And so I haven't been able to think to myself, well, I can afford that easily, but I haven't been coming from the space of that's overcharging. I've seen the value in what they've been sharing. So I hope that makes sense, Anna. I hope that shifts that around for you, that actually it's what we believe we're worth, not that people are overcharging. So I really hope that that makes sense, because we have to start taking responsibility for our investment in ourselves and our growth. And we can only expand our financial situation, our financial worth, if we invest in ourselves, if we are showing through action that we are willing to overstretch and say, I'm willing to invest in that. The universe goes, oh my goodness, she sees the value in that. She sees the worth in that. We're just going to bring that straight back to you. So yeah, that makes sense. Good. I'm glad it makes sense. Let me know if you've got any other questions about that, Anna, because that's such a valid point. And thank you so much for bringing that up, because it's so, so true. And this is what limits us. This is what keeps us stuck, playing it small, kind of thinking, well, I don't want to invest in that. I don't have the money for that. But when we step out of our comfort zone, that's where the expansion, that's where the true huge growth is. It really, really is. I promise you that. So, and there's nothing magical about it. It's not putting our wishes and our hopes and our dreams out there saying, when I have the money, then I'll invest in myself, because that's the wrong way to do it. The universe needs to see that we're taking action, that we're serious about bringing more money in by investing in it and using the money and finding ways and being creative about how we bring that money in. Okay. So there's something that I really want to share with you around that, because it's, some people are like, well, when I win the lottery, or when I you know, get that in, you know, when I get that return on something, then I'll invest in it. But actually we need to take action now. So the actions that I want you to really all think about in terms of this money piece is about making conscious choices about how you're spending your money and how you're not spending your money. And this really taps into the value that I just talked about, Anna, which is really, you know, every time that you choose to spend money, it's making a conscious choice that I choose to spend this money in exchange for the value of something I'm getting. Now that might be the food that I'm buying. I choose to exchange the money for the produce that I'm getting. I choose to exchange money for the value that I'm getting in buying this product, this service, this thing that I'm going to enjoy, this makeup I'm going to buy, this hairdo. I consciously choose to spend this money. And this became a mantra for me at the very beginning, when I was really very much in a space of lack through my own beliefs and wanting to really shift out of that. And by the same denotion, and where we come into judgment around not being able to spend money, I can't have that, or I can't have that right now. It's, I consciously choose not to spend my money and exchange this amount of money for the value of this product at this time. So you're consciously, with everything you're spending and not spending, you're consciously choosing to spend the money or not spend the money in exchange for that. So write that down, write that mantra down, and use it for every time you spend money. And the other really good thing about money is to take some money out at the beginning of the week and start to feel that exchange, taking money and coins out of your purse and going, I consciously choose to spend that money on the value for this, because it makes such a big difference. I only really spend hard cash. I get money out every week. It helps me to budget as well. So it's a great budgeting tool, because very often we are so disconnected from what we're spending money from, we don't even know what we're spending it on anymore. We just see the numbers decreasing in our bank account. And so really understanding and making conscious choices about what we're spending money on is super, super helpful. It was an absolute game changer for me. And I use this with my clients, and it has completely helped them to shift this idea of abundance and of lack into abundance. So start to see the beauty of things, like, you know, it's not just that it's expensive or it's overcharging. See the beauty in that thing, and saying, you know, if you love shoes and handbags, like looking and putting yourself in the energy of the beautiful elements of that, getting out beautiful old jewelry that you keep for best, keeping out, I don't know, I often laugh at my parents for bringing out the best cutlery and the best crockery, you know, for dinners. It's like, use it, love it. If you've got things that are sitting away at home, use it and love it, and use and get the value out of it, right? Don't save these things away from best. These things want to be used. And again, what you're doing is really putting the energy out there around that. So be in the energy of money. Okay, so just those kind of few things are going to start shifting your perspective around money. Take action that's aligned to financial and money abundance. Anna, I love the idea of taking money out at the beginning of the week. Helpful. Yeah, it's such a revelation. It has changed the whole way I view money. And I know my clients feel the same way about that as well. So yeah, taking some money out and just really feeling into the value, start to shift. I'm going to be doing 4 weeks of training around money. This is such a huge topic around money. I cannot squeeze this into 20 minutes. I've already gone over. So I'm going to wrap it up in a minute, but just let me know if you've got any other questions. And if you're watching the replay, please do ask questions, because it's so helpful to start reframing this idea of money. It's the thing that keeps us stuck. It's the thing that's stopping us from making a massive impact in the world. And for me, I am on a mission to get you guys making a massive impact in the world. And if that means helping you with the money piece, then so be it. Okay, so really, if you've got questions, if any of this resonates and you want to get in touch with me, email me, Natasha at mindbodysoulenergy.co.uk, and I will be happy to answer any questions. We can have a conversation about how I can help you with this whole financial piece and stepping into this, and you know, looking at things and not saying that they're being overcharged. I love the way you've brought that up, Anna. Thank you so much. You know, not looking at things as being expensive, looking at the value of what they're offering. And some things will not be offering the value of what they're worth, and that's okay too. But you're making a very different judgment of that based on value and not on the financial aspects of it. So I'm going to leave you there. Thank you so much for joining me. Anna says, thanks for the live. Very valuable. Thank you. You're so welcome. Anyone watching the replay, I know quite a lot of you watch on the replay, then please do post and ask questions. Thanks for watching, Anna. Love and abundance to you. Bring in that money, stand in the energy of money, and attract it to you. We are all abundant beings. Abundance is our right. We just need to align to it. So go forth and take action. Love, lots of love. Bye for now.